Hello, I am painting right now and I wanted to film my painting process and talk to the camera at the same time. Hi camera, I'm happy to have you as my companion, as my intellectual companion to listen to me. I have other companions. I have a dog companion, but he doesn't understand what I'm talking about. He just gets the base meaning of everything. The base meaning is love for all beings. And that's wonderful that he gets that, and all of them get that. And then I have another companion, and he is a grumpy older guy, and he has a very strong view that is very rigid, and so I agree with a lot of it, but he doesn't agree with a lot of what I say. So therefore the camera is very receptive to everything I say, and therefore I'm going to film this now. Alrighty. And you're probably gonna hear some gun shooting far in the distance. I don't know if it will pick it up, but it's pretty loud. It gets pretty loud up here. Somewhere down there in that canyon, somebody is shooting deer. And we moved here to this beautiful, pristine area to get away from the brutality, from the violence, from the shooting, from the murdering, from the commercial sounds and all of this. And so we come here, and it's usually very quiet and very nice, and I hear birds sing and the wind in the trees and bees humming, and it's just beautiful place. But then once in a while somebody shoots deer, and it's just heartbreaking. And also a lot of dogs out there barking in despair. A lot of dogs all the way around us, probably in kennels, probably tied up, probably outside, barking in despair. Please take me in the house. Please, I am shivering. I am cold. I have bladder pain. Please take me in the house. And there I go, suffering with them every single day, 24 hours a day. All week long, all year round, year after year after year. But that's how it is. That's how it is. That's how it is, and there's nothing I can do about it. And I try to do things about it as much as I can within the legislative boundaries that are almost choking us into silence. But I do it as much as I can, and I try to bring awareness to the world as much as I can. And then I get hate from people telling me I suck, I should just shut up, I'm a bitch, I am ugly and fugly, whatever that means. And fucked, I guess, is a mixture between fucked up and ugly. Okay. That's what I get for being a kind person who tries to bring awareness to the world. But yeah, I'm a crybaby and whiner and complainer. I feel sorry for myself a lot, but I feel more sorry for the dogs and the deer. So I'm gonna make a video now of me painting, and I already don't like the video, but I don't know if this is gonna pick up from here. But anyway, I'm gonna paint a little bit. I'm gonna blab a little bit. I don't know if it's gonna. This is my artwork here. It's a box. I'm recycling boxes, and I paint them on all sides, and also on the top, and on the bottom I put my signature. So I'm working on the dog right now. and I feel very, 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 very tired often. Very tired and very exhausted, because I feel like I can't help. I feel like my hands are tied. I can't help. So I turn to the Rinpoches, the Lamas, the Buddhist teachers, and some of them are Christians even, like Father John Deere or Sister Wendy Beckett. Those are two of the amazing ones. And I listen to them, what they have to say. They have to say a lot. They say a lot. And the very wise Christian people, they're completely saying exactly what the Buddhist monks are saying. Without, and today they probably hear those talk too, because we have the internet, but in the past there have been people like Meister Eckhart, for example, or Hildegard von Bingen, or who else that's good? There were a couple of Pater Pio from the Catholic religion. There were a couple of people who were incredibly wise, and naturally they didn't fit in with the establishment of that current view, and they would edge on because of that, just because of that, even though they meant totally well. They're not even a rebel. This meant totally well, and they wanted to bring peace and all of this, and there it edges on. It edges on. As soon as somebody brings peace, they edge on. Well, with other words, if you are the total corrupt asshole in the world, you will be catapulted all the way to the highest position, because that is what serves the status quo. That is what serves the establishment. That's what serves the corruption in every government, religion, religious institution, and any kind of powerful institution, any kind of institution that has gained any kind of power. And it's very sad to say that even in some of the charities that are out there, particularly the charities that are giving to Africa, many of those are extremely corrupt. Extremely corrupt. That's why I caution people to, before they give their dollars to a children, feed the children in Africa type of group, be very, very aware that money might never see an African child. So, but there are other groups. There are groups like, I used to work for a group, El Puente, and they were giving money to groups that go directly there from El Puente, and they do fair trade and schooling and education and family planning service there, and teaching people how to empower themselves, and teaching people that they don't need to have children at age 15, that they should go to school first, and that the children that they're putting into the world are just adding more to the problem, all of these children, than serving them when they're old. So people got it all mixed up, and so it goes to education. There are very few of those groups, and so Doctors Without Borders. And now right now I'm just talking about the groups that are helping the third world countries. So I personally only give money to the animals, because the animals are are pure, and the animals are our teachers, and we need to be good to our teachers. And the animals, they can't go to a lawyer themselves. They have to have others to represent them. And so that's what I try to do. I try to do that as best as I can. I try to represent the animals. And I'm grateful, real deeply grateful to all people who represent the animals. And I know Father John Deere talks about this a lot. And he says we need to become vegetarians. He's a vegetarian, and it's awesome. It's really great. It's better yet to become vegan, because the cheese and the milk and the dairy products and all of it. And anyone who eats fish, that's just completely destroying the ocean. It used to be not the case. There used to be sustainable fishing on this planet. But that's not the case anymore. Okay, so when we eat fish, we support this horrific exploitation of the ocean and the destruction and all of this, the overfishing, and the sea lions don't have food to eat, and then they go into the rivers, and then the people there, they call them names. The people there call that there was another shooting. Another shooting. Yeah, and I sit here without the camera, another shooting. I sit here without the camera, another shooting. Okay, and it just keeps going on. And I want to just scream out of my window, you fucking murderers. But then, if I do that, then the whole neighborhood will turn against us. Somebody already turned the whole neighborhood against us. Somebody already, we naively talk about our world view to a neighbor, and she turns the whole neighborhood against us. So it's a mistake to block away the world view. I can't even do it here on the camera. I can't even do it. Not to the extent that I wish. I am from the future, baby. I am not from this time frame, that's for sure. I'm from the future. I'm from like way from the future. Somebody said to me, you are way out there. That's like his ultimate argument. You are way out there. That's like you are so way out there. Well, you have nothing to say. You know, that's the end of the conversation. It's like you are so way out there, therefore you got nothing to say. Okay, well, sorry to say it, but I got a lot to say. And because I am way out there. And anybody who wants to learn, who really wants to move ahead, should listen. But, and there are some people who listen because they are open-minded. But very few people, and I just am not very, I don't have commercials, and I just hate it. I just hate commercials. There's no way I can put commercials on. I hate commercials on other people's videos, so why should I do it? Why should I be that double standard? Besides that, I wouldn't make a penny anyway. I don't have any views. But I hate commercials. And my husband says, you need the commercials to promote your videos, or they promote your videos if you have commercials. I don't even think that's true. And even if it was true, why should I use a vehicle that I hate in the first place to promote my video that talk against it? It doesn't make any sense, you know. So I do without commercials, and I don't do any of these trailers or introduction type of things that people have on their videos. You know, they do a bunch of like, and then they do written text in between, and particularly on black all of a sudden with written text. That's not pretty. Sorry, it is not pretty. And there are a lot of people who don't have the patience to read that. So why not just make a pretty video in color and talk? And talk as clearly as you can. Not talk like, what's up man, shit, blah, 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 you know, but talk clearly. Also try to speak clearly when you write comments. Use spell check. When spell check underlines a word, then that word is to 99.9999% incorrect. Okay, there are some exceptions, but it should be revised, it should be reviewed, that word. And it doesn't hurt to take the time and study a little bit how the word is spelled correctly. You don't want to do too much colloquialism, you know, slang language. It just distorts our language. English language is a beautiful language. Why distort it? Why dumb it down? You know, that'd be sad. That'd be like stripping a treasure of its pearls and gold and jewels. Why would you want to do that? Same with everything. Same with nature. You know, why do you want to strip nature of its pearls? Why do you want to log all these things going on? Why do you want to shoot a deer, an innocent deer? The deer mama with her babies out there. They want to live. They enjoy the apples we give them. They love the apples so much. They come here and they go, do they have any apples for us today? And we give them apples every winter. We give them apples from our other apple tree. And they're so happy when they eat the apples, and it's just unbelievably painful for me to see how somebody can shoot such a precious, beautiful, loving animal. In Mount Shasta, the people are nicer. They treat him well. So the deer are tame. Right? Here they are not tame. When I go out there, the deer run. And when they see Kenny, they run, of course. In Mount Shasta, the deer are tame, and they even like the people's dogs, because they're used to being treated nice. And another thing that struck me is Spirit Rock in Marin County in San Francisco. It's like right in the middle of the, or quite in the middle of this really gigantic city, this gigantic concentrated place of population, and with just one peaceful natural place, and not even that large. I mean, I guess maybe 100 acres or so. And the deer there are tame. You know. Another 10 shootings right now. I feel like I'm going insane if I don't have the camera listen to me. How can I paint? How can I be creative when I have to hear destruction in the background, when I have to hear war in the background? How can I be creative? These straight lines that I'm making here, they're very complex because I'm very precise with it. I've become very precise, and I do these straight lines without a ruler. I just do it by eyesight. And with acrylic paint, you have to go over it many times, and it's just a trial and error. And I make a mistake, I go over the line here and I do a blotch on there, and then I have to let it dry, and I have to repair it again with the blue, for example. Or if I have the blue go over the line like here, then I have to repair it with the beige. And it goes back and forth many times, maybe 10 to 15 times or more. And it's a long process. Painting like this here, a cube like this, will last me like half a year. For like half a year, I work on it for like 6 months or more. That's a long process. And I don't know why, but I feel like I have to do it like really precisely. I used to not be that precise, but I've become more and more picky about it. So it's like when I look at it, when I stop and look at it, I see imperfections, and then I just have to fix it. It's kind of like OCD a little bit, but it's not ugly like OCD. It's just the need to perfect it. It is an artistic need to perfect it, a little bit like Raphael. They all had the need to perfect things, but they were really rough with themselves. They made themselves bleed. They used a chisel and a hammer, and they carved out Michelangelo. He carved out the David in Florence, and he was bleeding. I was watching 3 documentaries, each one an hour, about the Medici. That's a family in Italy who had a lot of money and influence, and they were absolute art lovers. Not all people from the family were good people, but a lot of them were very good people, very interested in science. And the Medici Pope, he was interested in science. He was not interested in the religion. He said, he got the papacy. Now let's enjoy it. Let's use it. Let's use it for the right purpose, to educate people and to live a good life and to do science. And Raphael actually criticized him for that. Raphael didn't realize at that time, around 1500, how horrific religion can be. He didn't realize that it takes on so much power. And then later on, that's exactly what happened. The Medici popes died, a new pope came, and one that would bring everything back and would regress everything. Everything that they have progressed, he would regress. And that's the one that tortured Galileo Galilei, because Galileo Galilei has discovered that the earth revolves around the sun and not the sun around the earth. They wanted to believe that all the planets and stars and suns would revolve around the Earth, because they wanted to consider the Earth, where they live, the center of the universe. And it's an egoic view, but it's a false one. Galileo Galilei found out that they were wrong, and he was tortured by that Pope. Pope had him tortured. So I think that it is time for humanity to realize now that killing, war, eating animals, all of this is not working for us. Okay? It is barbaric, it's unsustainable, it kills us. Eating meat is a killer. Okay? All the way around. It is direct karma. You know. If you eat a lot of meat, the chances that you will die from the C word, I don't like to use the word, from heart attack, stroke, or a tumor in the brain, or any of these diseases that are caused by high cholesterols and fats and animal proteins. So that's very likely to happen. And the people who are vegan, they live a whole lot longer, and they live free. They're free from all these terrible health burdens. They also don't have high blood pressure. All of this high blood pressure and angry thoughts and all of this, all caused by eating meat. You know, people don't realize that. And it doesn't cause good energy, you know, eating meat. It causes being full of yourself. It causes righteousness behavior, and which is never right. Never being righteous is never being right, because it's always double standard. And see that with myself too, when I think I am right, you know, I am so right, and other people are wrong, and then I sit back and I go like, oh, wait a minute, you know, how do I teach anything if I come across that way? How do I teach anything, even if I'm right? How do I come across, you know? I come across as a jerk, and so I don't want to do that anymore. I feel helpless, you know. When I get mad, or when I come across as a jerk, it's because I feel helpless. The helplessness makes me get angry. It's not because I want to be a jerk. That's the last thing on my mind. I just want to help, but when I see that rocks are thrown into my path, naturally I'll get angry. Everybody would get angry. But then getting angry, then you're not a good teacher when you're angry. I've seen that many times. With my husband, I see it all the time. He gets mad really easily in discussions with people, and frustrated, and then he gets facetious, and then he's not teaching anything anymore, because then he's just being passive aggressive, and it's not helping, it's not getting his teaching across. It also comes across as double standard always. So yeah, it's not gonna work. I think the best teachers are actually those who feel good. But that is the tricky part, you know. How can I feel good when I hear gun shooting? How can I feel relaxed? How can I feel relaxed now because I'm doing my artwork, and I also made a perfume oil, and that perfume oil is extremely relaxing that I made. I call it love. I'll never find the exact same concentration of the oils again, but all natural oils. But it doesn't matter. Next time I'll find another combination. This is the Blue God Love. There I made a mistake here. I'll have to put blue over it there again. There I made a mistake. But the perfume oil is my lifesaver. If I didn't have these perfume oils, and if I didn't have such a nose, such an olfactory system in the brain that processes smells, it has two sides of the coin, you know. I am hypersensitive to bad smells. Cigarette smoke, for example, is something I cannot bear. For me, it's an association with being unfree, being in prison, its bleakness, you know. It is what the artist Goya portrayed, and I do not like those paintings. And so yeah, it's just extremely difficult to be relaxed and happy and be a good teacher when I am suffering from the things that I'm criticizing, you know. When I suffer and am angry and then I can't teach because I'm overwhelmed with the pain of what I'm trying to teach, that my material that is teaching people not to do these horrible things. So it is very tricky. You know. So I have to find a way to relax myself and feel better. And I am extremely lonely, by the way. That's why I want to talk to good people, you know, like my friend Kate. But I think I come across as needy. And I don't blame people if they feel like I'm needy. My aunt too. You know, they don't want to talk too much with me. They don't want to exchange too many emails with me, because it's kind of exhausting to them, I guess, you know. So that's why I have to turn to my camera. What a good camera that is. Yeah, that's how it is. I talk to Paul sometimes, but Paul is consumed with his anger and with his righteousness and with his view of the world that leaves no open end at all. That's like saying, I got the last answer, I got all the answers. Not even Richard Dawkins would do something like this. Even Richard Dawkins says humbly, you know, we know this much scientifically. The books are out there. The tests have shown over and over this and this and this. We have all these findings, and those are hard facts. But then there'll be more to explore. There'll be more to discover. Endless. It's endless. And because of that, he said he has like 4%. Or something like that, 4% agnostic in him. Yeah. My husband would never say something like this. My husband would never say. My husband is a hardcore atheist. A hardcore, and a hardcore atheist. I got all the answers, baby, you know. No, it doesn't work that way. It doesn't work. That's a very naive understanding of how the universe works. The universe is infinite. Neither the creationists, those certainly are the most naive of all, but neither the hardcore atheists or any other believers or non-believers or world viewers really understand how the universe really is set up. There is just the beginnings of understandings of things. Certain things, not all. Most of it is not understood. That does not give green light for a Jesus turning blood into wine, of course. That's just obvious, okay? Or Mother Mary giving birth without having sex. This is so unbelievably ignorant to believe something like this, you know. But so that has nothing to do with the endlessness of the universe. That's fairy tale. But an atheist, hardcore atheist, saying this is all there is, that's not the full understanding of the universe either. Because the eternal universe and all its individual universes and multiverses that are within the eternal universe, that is not understood and will never be fully understood because it is eternal. How can something that is eternal be ever fully understood, right? That's impossible. So, and that's something that a lot of people don't like, that idea of eternity. Neither creationists or believers of religions like that idea, nor atheists like that idea. Most people don't like that idea. I like the idea because it's the truth. I like the truth. I'm a friend of the truth. And I'm a friend of decentralizing myself. I'm a friend of decentralization of egoic mindsets, of egoic individuals. Nothing is centralized. Okay? Nobody is centralized. Nobody is the center of the universe. Because there is no center of the universe. There is no center. Nobody is centered like the Pope thinks he's centered, center of the Catholic Church. You probably think, a lot of popes, they think that they're the center of the universe too. I know that Joseph Ratzinger is his name. I know that Joseph Ratzinger did not think that. I know that he considered himself just one of the popes, and he was trying to make it work. But then again, he also was hanging too much, and probably still is hanging too much on these old ideas of how the universe is put together. Hanging too much on that. Clinging too much on that. With him, it's less the ego with him than it is fear. But then again, the ego also has to do with a lot of fear. So, but with him, it's definitely fear-based. He thinks he'll be punished if he ever sways away from that religious worldview. Like those many people And that's why this Christian, or Muslim in particular, even worse, or the Jewish tradition, they all have this fear-based religion. It's fear, based on fear. That's not how the world works. The eternal universe. More shootings. Eternal universe is not there to threaten us. The eternal universe. You can call it a God with any name. The love God, the glow God, the sun God, the life giver God, whatever you want to call it. But it's better to call it what it is, the eternal universe. And the eternal universe doesn't think about these things like we do. It doesn't premeditate any kind of action. It just is a continuous flow of karmic events. It's a continuous flow of cause and effect. An eternal flow of cause and effect. That's very hard for a lot of people to accept. But that's the truth. It is an eternal flow of cause and effect. If you throw a rock into a lake, it will cause a ripple effect. It just ripples and ripples and ripples. And at some point we can't see any more ripples. Okay? And then we think the ripples have ended. But that's not the truth. The truth is the ripples continue on a minute scale, very minutely. It will affect something down the line. And a molecule could be just a molecule. It could be just a quark. It could be a quasar, or whatever. I don't know what they're called. A quark of a molecule could be hitting on a water lily, okay, and that water lily will produce a different color because of that. So I mean, it just the possibilities of the ripple effect are very, very, very vast. Can you imagine the ripple effect that humanity does with pollution? That's not a pretty ripple effect. That's not like a rock thrown into the lake that causes a different color of a leaf of a water lily. Okay. What humans are doing is absolutely horrific. What they're doing to the ecosystem of planet Earth. That is so delicate in its dependence on balance, on love. Every thought we think has an effect on how things turn out. It could be in a very minute way, like my angry thought that I have could ripple out and enter into a hunter brain and make the hunter out there shoot one more time instead of one less time. Something like that. It's very minute. That's why the Buddhists say we have to do equanimity. Yeah, it's very difficult to accept that and to understand that. Equanimity when you're angry, very difficult. How is that possible? How can I do that? But it is possible. I know it is possible because I've seen the people who have done it. I'm trying to practice it. I don't think I have succeeded. I'm trying real hard. I'm like in a type of like a limbo type of situation. I make myself perfume oil that smells so out of this worldly good. I make myself teas like cinnamon tea, and out of organic cinnamon chips, and it tastes so amazingly good. I call it my personal Coca-Cola. It's my personal cola, my Nicola. It is my Nicola tea. Just cinnamon chips, cooked in a little cotton bag, and then you drink the tea. It tastes so amazing. You can drink it hot or cold with ice, and it tastes so great. Those kind of things, you make your own aroma spray for the house, for the kitchen, the restroom, whatever. You can make it with sodium bicarbonate and some perfume oils, but they have to be natural oils, not synthetic. Natural perfume oils, cinnamon oil, for example, or anything like lemon oil or mandarin oil or geranium oil or pine needle oil. It's amazing. Or peppermint or tea tree oil, and it's very disinfecting. Or grapefruit oil, very disinfecting oils, and smell very good, and they kill molds. I don't like the word kill. They get rid of mold, and the sodium bicarbonate gets rid of mold. We're not coughing anymore. Now we had leaks in the house, and we are trying to fix them little by little. And now I'm spraying sodium bicarbonate solution in water, and it is getting rid of the mold and making everything smell really good. And I added perfume oils in it from plants. It makes everything smell wonderful. And it doesn't feel dirty. It doesn't feel like there's any more bacteria or mold spores in the house. It's really great. And I give Kenny aromatic oil massages, aromatic shiatsu massages, and he likes that. And so I make my life with the very, very, very few financial means, with the least financial means possible. It's also training that to become more self-sustainable, to get off the grid. You want to learn how to make things happen without using a whole bunch of money, because that's always good to do. It's always good to do that. That makes the life much less wasteful. If everybody did that, we would have less waste. And waste is a huge problem on this planet. Huge. With 7.1 billion humans creating waste, we want to learn how to eliminate waste. Eliminate the accumulation of waste in our households. And should learn how to live sustainably and ecologically, and do composting. See, I'm trying to do all this. I'm trying to learn all of this to make myself less dependent and less despaired. I'm trying to help my life so I don't have to be angry anymore, when we're dependent on things, dependent on society. The more dependent we are on society, like the girls who have boob jobs, they're very dependent, and they're very wasteful without knowing. They don't realize what all these things they're supporting, the ripple effects again, that they are causing with their unhappiness of their bodies. So we need to learn to become happy with our bodies. I like my fat, You know, it's part of me. It's my fat. Those are my fat cells. They're here to protect me, you know. They're good. They also produce a lot of female hormones. People don't realize that. That's why a lot of men are attracted to women who are thick. They call them thick. So, because the thickness, the fatness, is what causes estrogen and gestagen, and it causes being a muse, with other words. So, all of this is connected. When people starve themselves because they think they have to be fitting into a society of high class, to them that's high class, then they're depriving themselves of very, very precious things. Again, at the time of Raphael and the Medici, around the 1500, being fat was the ultimate. It was so hot at that time, being fat. And the painter Peter Paul Rubens, I think he's a Dutch painter. I think it's Dutch or German, I forgot now. But his wife was fat, he was fat, and then later he got himself a fat 16-year-old muse. So, and when you see the picture of her that he painted, you'll think, ooh, oh, boy, she's fat. She's low class or whatever. But at that time, that was regarded as absolutely not just opulent, but it was regarded as lush. It was regarded as life-giving. So they all painted people fat. And Michelangelo, I'm sure he was a homosexual. He loved male bodies. And he painted them fat, every one of them, including Jesus Christ was depicted as fat, with penises. They always showed penises. He liked the male penis, the male body with the penis sticking out. And at some point, that really made one of the popes mad. Even though Raphael was real religious and everything, everybody was at that time. And they didn't think they had any other worldview option. And I'm sure these people knew that they were homosexuals, and they probably had their hidden relationships. I'm sure they did. Leonardo da Vinci too. Everything had to be hidden, you know. They had to hide that nature because of religion. How sad, you know, how sad. How sad to hide who you are. How sad to have to hide what you really want, who you really love. How awfully, awfully sad is that? How far would that go? How far would a religion go, you know? Will they go to the point where they forbid people to kiss a horse on the mouth? Something I just love to do. And well, they say that's beastiality or something, you know. And you have to hide that love, that deep love you have. And I don't have bestiality. I don't consider an animal as a sex partner. For me, they're all my children, you know. But how far would they go? Would they say you're not allowed to kiss a horse on the nose? And I'm sure that was the case in the past. But do people want to bring this back? This how was that called? The Inquisition. How do they want to bring that back? Then such horror of the past as the Inquisition? I don't think so. No. I think we should move forward. I think it's time for us to move forward and embrace love. Love. Love is not religious. Religious painters may have and have produced love and art, but religion itself is not the root of love. Okay? Quite the opposite. Quite the opposite. And we need to learn to understand this. We need to break free and understand that we are more than that, way more than that, than these shackled people. We're way more. Each person is way more than that. Gosh, if that Stephanie knew that. That Stephanie that I know, if she just knew that she's way more than that religion. Way more precious than this woman who's shackling herself to death with this terrible belief about the world, limitations, and she can't read this book, she can't read that book because that book is too secular. Now that book is written by that person. That I can't do because that is going against her worldview. So how she's limiting herself, how she's enslaving herself. If she just realized that, boy, if she just realized that, if every Stephanie like that in the world would just realize that, we can make the world a better place. We can make it a paradise, free of flags, free of symbols, free of representation symbols of this or that power regime, this or that country, this or that religion, this or that company, free of all that, free of commercial, free of power. I'm Nicola, I'm a living being. I'm not a German, I'm not a this or that, I'm not a Rudolf Steiner whatever, Waldorf school student. I used to go to Waldorf school, but I'm not a Waldorf school student. I'm not an anthroposophist. I love Rudolf Steiner. I've never ever considered to be an anthroposophist. I love the Buddha. Never will I become a Buddhist. Ever. I don't want flags. I don't want, although I like the Tibetan prayer flags, but they don't stand for the country. They don't stand for us versus you or something. They stand for what they're teaching, peace to all living beings. You know. The freeing everybody from suffering. That's what the Buddha taught. So because of that, I find those flags beautiful. But then again, I don't support the worshipping. The worshipping again, always worshipping certain people of the past. You know, worshipping them and having to prostrate to them, and then they don't allow women into some of those stupas. They don't allow. They have a statue in the size of a Barbie doll, and they don't allow women to see that Barbie doll Buddha shape or whatever is not allowed to be in the presence of a woman, because that is considered, what, the woman is considered dirty or something, you know. I am very sorry, but I mean, this just screams right at your face, doesn't it? You know. And I'm very sorry. It's a popular religion. It is very, very up to date and very modern and very en vogue. But look at it. It has its own little farty issues, okay? And we should look at it, and we should not glorify any of this. Look at the faults and correct those. Okay? And I'm sure the Buddha never ever intended to have a Barbie doll figure not be allowed to to be in the presence of a woman. What a ridiculous thing. And also this constant prostration. That is, in my opinion, that is equal to OCD. It's the same as OCD, or what they do in the Vatican, these weird golden crowns and all of this, these sticks that they have in their hand, this Jesus Christ tortured on the cross and holding that up, constantly looking at a tortured person. And all of this constantly worshipping this, oh, he was tortured, now I have to worship him for the rest of my life, or whatever, the God will punish them, or whatever. I mean, people look at it, it's mental illness, okay? And it is psychosis of the worst. And just because it is a psychosis that happens to be practiced by millions of people does not make it less psychotic. Okay? And that is the truth. Break free of this. Break free. And I know that all the real good, wise people in the Christian religion are very, very well aware of that. But they don't bring it up because they're not the denouncer as I am. I am an outspoken denouncer. That's what they accuse the devil of. That's why they accuse me of being the devil, the bringer of light. You know, the light shedder. I'm the one who sheds the flashlight on things. That's been considered the devil from the day one when they brought this figure into the world. It doesn't even exist. But they brought it into the world to say was to make people afraid of shedding light, to make people afraid of showing the truth. They didn't want that, because that would threaten their power states. So this is a long video. I don't even know if I'm going to upload all of this.